Good morning, YouTube. The RioRand Bipod. It's made out of aluminum and steel. Anyways, so RioRand 6 to 9 inch hunting rifle bipod, adjustable spring return sniper sling swivel mount with 1,760 wacko people like me that, well, they gave it 4.5. And okay, I'm in. 4.5 it is. $31.99 Canadian, Amazon.ca. Woohoo! Alright, so bipods are even going up in price. Thankfully I found this one. It was within budget. Because I also had to get some scope rings, so I'm like, okay, well, I got this much to spend. Let's see what we can do here. Anyways, it is adjustable even for angles, okay? So, like, a lot of bipods apparently are, right? Anyways, even though it's a cheaper bipod, I could care less. When it comes to the whole dollar value of things, sometimes you get what you pay for. Other things you can pay a lot of money and get crap, but also, yeah, you can pay a little bit of money and still get crap too, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all over the place in this planet, so we all got to suck it up, all right? Now, I've got a lot of experience with a lot of these Amazon bipods over the years, and I can tell you that I've had a couple of them that did fail, usually in this locking system. That's usually the bad guy, okay? And just as much, I've had some that didn't fail, even from the same company with the same freaking bipod. It's just the manufacturing lifestyle we have, right? But this one, well, we're going to give it a shot. It was only 32 bucks. It was the cheapest one I could find anyways. And like I said, we were talking Canadian dollars on my channel unless otherwise specified. All right. Now, bipods are really handy for prone shooting. Definitely. Okay. Or if you need that little extra edge or whatever when you're out hunting, they can work great for that too. But the best thing about bipods is when you're sighting in your bloody gun and you don't have one of those really expensive, mounting systems like some guys do and all this, and it's kind of like, yeah, but do you really need all that junk? Well, if you got more money than you know what to do with and you think you need it, I guess you do. But in reality, no, none of us need any of that stuff, especially for sighting in a freaking gun. You need a bipod, and you need to have a steady up and down, one form or another. Sandy bags it is, or no sandbags. Depends on how good you are with yourself for staying stationary for your up and down movement. But the bipod is definitely a good must-have. Now, if you've been looking at any videos lately on my channel, recently, of course, I went to the range and I sighted this thing in, and yes, I wiped the bullseye a new one, and it's a nickel-sized bullseye, right? And that's fine for doing that with my cobbled together creation, okay? But even it had issues of a little bit of lefty-righty kind of movement, which is called canting, which throws your trajectory out, okay? But at least I stayed within that nickel size. So with a bipod, now I get to go back again and double check everything and see how far things really are out of whack and just squeeze things in tighter with my scope settings so that this thing is a precision bullet. In other words, I should be able to put in below dime size, okay, at the range in which I'm sighting in for, of course, with that ammo. My gun, I went through a few different ammo types, and it does seem to adore CCI standard, and I'm okay with it. It's a pretty good fast round. It's more than fast enough for, whacking, things like squirrels and rabbits and, even grouse at even longer than the 24 yards that I sighted this thing in for, because that's about the range you're going to be going anyways. Even if you're hunting grouse, even a 410 is only good for like 25 yards, so you gotta kind of figure it, right? So 22 can go a hell of a lot farther than a shotgun, and still be pretty darn lethal, but we don't need to worry about those ranges. So we just need to worry about what we need to get done and accomplish the task with this thing. So I think it'll be a pretty awesome gun. So now we've got a $32 bipod on here. We're gonna have to get back out to the range and redouble check our sight in, squeeze it in where we need to, and see how things go. And yeah, I'm gonna actually do a little bit of a video for you guys at that point, just to show you the results that day. Because there's no way I'm set up to do filming. I'm not there to film at this point. I'm there to get my bloody gun sighted in properly. But I will take pictures of the target as I shoot it and let you know how things go. Anyways, so other than that, what else can I tell you? We do have a sling mount, obviously, down here. Now, here's the thing with the sling mount on the RioRand. First time I ever come across this on any bipod, I actually had to drill the holes out on the plates, because there's 2 plates underneath there for that. I actually drill them out one size, like 1 drill bit size larger than what actually was used, because I couldn't get my sling mount pinned all the way through. I was like, well, that's kind of disappointing, but you know what? It's 32 bucks. I had to expect something wasn't drilled right. But good news is, you just have to have a regular everyday sling mount pin and pop that sucker up, and she hugs your rifle, and it is padded to protect your rifle, so don't worry about that. You're okay. It might be cheap, but it's built right, okay? So, anyhow, at the 9-inch height, it's great. You can go, you know, with other heights with it. You can, you know, take that down to even something like this, okay? It's kind of up to you. You can also have one leg longer than the other, because you might need that angle difference because of the terrain you're on. If you're using this out in the field, you would definitely need to be able to adjust for that for sure. Okay, so that's another thing. And it's going to be adjustable within limitations, obviously. Okay, and then you just push this in and then click lock, and away you go. You want to eject them out, push the little button, and it comes out, and you can lock it there, or you can take it. Oh, actually, it has 1 locking place. That's the beginning. So there you go. But you got a total of 9 inches of height, okay, in the end. So that works. Now, the only real failures that ever happen in bipods of this design, no matter what you pay for them, is usually the locking mech for the leg. Especially if it's that style of a leg. Those can fail. It varies on the quality build, right? But that's why I'm not picky on, oh, you gotta have $160 or $240 or $500 freaking bipod because they're built right and they'll last forever. And then you hear about the sad story of, about 1 month in, it broke on me, and the company told me to screw myself because, hey, that's the way it is in the gun world. And that's actually not far off. Yeah, I don't mind spending 31 bucks on a bipod, but, you know, I would have to be pretty insane to spend too much on one. I mean, you got to consider, what did your gun cost? What'd your scope cost? What'd your sling cost? Etc., etc., right? I mean, we're talking a $400 gun in Canada, $100 scope in Canada, right? 15 bucks out of the bargain bin. Trigger lock's 10 bucks. And then we got a freaking bipod that is going to work. And I've used bipods for years on pellet guns. I've left them on the guns. I've, you know, taken them off the guns, on and off and on and off, with very few of them ever failing on me, ever. But some have, okay? And where I saw the failure was in this spring-loaded system in here. And, you know, that usually even I couldn't fix it. So it was just one of those things where it had enough, and yep, it was cheap, because back then bipods were like 15 and 20 bucks. Now they cost you 30 and 40 and 50, and the price keeps going up and up and up and up. So, but anyway, I also don't think you need an expensive piece of technology if you're using it mainly for sighting in the gun, and the odd time you may be prone with this thing. You don't need a super expensive bipod, in my opinion. But to each their own, I always say. But I like it. I will definitely say I'm in with that 4.5 average star percentile. I think the build quality is very good on it. You know, and so far, for being brand new out of the box, everything's functioning right. The rubberized feet are nice because it's going to protect the surface you're on. You know, you've got rubberized padding here too, protects your gun. Sling mount is great, and no complication. And you got to be very careful too when you're going out for a bipod, because a lot of these have adapter plates, and those adapter plates, in order to use those, that you may have to on the gun, well, guess what? Now you got to put a friggin' Picatinny or a Weaver mount system underneath your gun, and you better get it dead freaking center, otherwise you're going to be in a shifty mood. You know, I've had a lot of practice, and I only failed once or twice on getting dead center, so, and there ain't no fixing wood when you drill it or plastic, so think about it. I like it when the factory does it right, and I just have to clamp it on and go. So this is the style I went with. It just has little jaws and right to your pin, and then your sling moves down here. But you may have to drill that one drill bit size higher than what the factory did to get your sling mount pin in, because I did. So, and then she folds right up like this, right out of your way, which is kind of really cool too, right? I like that. It also makes the gun look pretty neat, especially with this big scope on here. It's like, that's a nasty gun. It's a Sniper 22. Anyway, and then of course your lowest setting. It's kind of nice. So, and you know, that's almost freaking perfectly level too. I'd have to check that out with a level. Looks pretty straight to me. But anyway, that's where I'm at right now. Once I've gotten a chance to double check my sighting on my gun, which I have a feeling I'm going to have to squeeze things in a little tighter, that also means my gun will be a lot more precision set up too, which will be nice. I'll show you the target results that day. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get back out to the range, because the weather is kind of going wacko here in good old Ontario, Canada for us, and we're getting more rain than sunshine. But I'll get to it as soon as I can and then get back to you guys. But in the meantime, let me know if you've had these RioRand ones and what your experience was, and if it failed, what failed, and you know, because I'm kind of curious. Usually I see this locking mechanism fail, and that's usually all it ever does. So I've never had anything else fail on any bipod. So anyway, that's it. That's all. Bye-bye.